Hello. Hello. Hope everyone's doing all right today. How are we doing? Here, I'll put some Destiny music in the background. Wow, wow, wow. Yo, Lab, what's up? How's everybody doing? Just ignore the fact that Destiny is small. That's a glitch or something. There's nothing you have to worry about. I just want the orbit music anyways. Give me a sec. Just don't pay attention to any of my settings being changed. That has nothing to do. That's just how Shadow plays Destiny when she's in the Pale Heart. For me, Shadow's my cat. How are you feeling about Destiny 2 right now? Yeah. It's definitely yeah, it's Destiny 2, man. Wasn't there going to be a Bungie stream? I don't think they confirmed anything, but or ever announced anything, but we got a stream before Act 2, so it would have made sense to get one before Act 3. But now, I can assure you, that is almost certainly not going to happen. The Bungie team will probably go very, very quiet for a couple of months. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Hopefully they're still going to GCX. Because I need to buy some people some beers. So we're gonna go through this this article that Jason Schreier wrote up today. Sony's Bungie faces reckoning after mass layoff. This has some information about what the Destiny sequel or spinoff was, Destiny Payback. Has some information about the future content cadence for Destiny 2, and some other information. So, do you think the game can make a comeback? I mean, do I think the game can make a comeback? The answer is yes. There's infinite potential with the Destiny IP. But it is very clear, as we're going to go over, that allegedly Bungie does not necessarily want Destiny to make a comeback. So I have little, and when I say Bungie, I mean the C-suite. I have what we're gonna go over. I have very few ways of interpreting other than it's just gonna. I think life support is a little dramatic, maybe, but it's definitely not gonna be getting the love and attention that it gets now. So. Are you going to be branching out to other games for content soon, just in case anything goes exactly how it looks like? Well, like, I've always approached content the same way. I've made videos on other games. I've done streams doing other games. If something is catching my attention, then I'll play it and I'll make videos. And if I'm playing it, I'll make videos on it. That's how it's always gone. If Zombies is good this year, I've always really wanted to make Zombies content. I've done some stuff in the past. I would love to do more. Just Zombies just hasn't been good for the last half decade. So if it can be good again, I'll make videos on that. If there's another looter shooter that catches my attention, I can make videos on that. Like, I'm not against, I've never been against playing other games. It has just always been, Destiny has been my main game. So. Don't support Marathon and they'll have to go back. I do not believe that is the case. I am 100% convinced that if Marathon fails, Bungie is done. I do not think their finances can support it. I think if Marathon does not succeed, if Marathon is not a financial success, I fully believe, until I am told otherwise by a credible source, I fully believe that Bungie will be scrapped for parts. Riot MMO? The Riot MMO is still years away. Plus, it'll probably be fucking third person. I fucking hate third person games. Yeah, I saw that. Couple gums for teas. It's kind of cool. You have zero interest in Marathon. I fear most Destiny players. Yeah, Marathon intentionally. This is something I've seen a lot of people not, like, totally miss. Marathon is intentionally not targeted towards Destiny players. Bungie wants to hit new audiences and get new people. As a company, you never, ever, ever want to self-cannibalize. People only have X amount of time to play video games, and they only have X interest in playing video games. So if one company makes 2 video games that the same group of people are interested in playing, you are cannibalizing your player base. It is actually, in fact, I will give the Bungie leadership this, even though there's been an immense amount of very obvious bad decisions, it makes an unbelievable amount of sense if you can make it work to make 2 very different games. You have to do that. You have to do it. So it is not, the Marathon is not meant to look awesome to most Destiny players. By design, that is intentional. I will definitely be checking Marathon out. I am in it. I really hope it's still very puzzle and secret-y based, as it was supposed to be originally, but that was under Christopher Barrett. We know Christopher Barrett, I don't think, is at all associated with Bungie anymore. I don't really fucking know. He kind of just disappeared. He's at least not the game director anymore. And so Marathon is something different. Or no, I'm sorry. I did not mean to say that. Marathon may be something different. We don't know. I hope it's not. I hope it's all very puzzly based and Easter eggy and secret-y, like it was originally intended to be, but we'll see. So, hate third-person games. You're gonna love this article. Yeah, no, I've already read it. I know. There are very few exceptions. There are a couple of third-person games I have historically liked. I think Dead Space is probably the best example, but that kind of plays into the. It works in that game, and I think Remnant was all right for a third-person game. Like, I think it was good for a third-person game. I think it would have been better first-person, but I will never, ever, 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 ever be convinced. Maybe this is silly to say. I could be convinced, but as far as my outlook right now is, there's no way you could possibly convince me that a third-person game could ever feel as good as a first-person game. Period. Like, and until I see a very strong argument otherwise, that's my mentality. And every time I see a game that I'm excited for and then it's revealed that it's a third-person game, I'm just immediately like, what the fuck are we doing? So Kevin Yanis is still a Bungie, yes. What's up, Mikey? I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but you try the first Descendant? I played the beta for first Descendant. I'm technically, I don't know like how this goes, but technically at some point I was affiliated and I was like one of their creator people, I guess. I never like signed anything, I don't think. Maybe I signed an NDA like 3 years ago. I don't remember. But they like send me trailers and news early and stuff. So I played the alpha, I played the beta, it was fine. It didn't really catch me. Then I have a 14900K, an Intel, which until like last week, you couldn't even launch the fucking game if you had that Intel processor, because Intel sucks. Intel sucks even more because they just laid off like 20,000 people, but they also made bad product and rushed QA and stuff. So I was late to it, and I've been playing through the campaign, and it's just not catching me, man. I don't know. So, you mean just shooters? No, I mean, well, okay. No, not just shooters. I think like slashers too. I prefer in first person. I'm trying to think. Like I always played Skyrim in first person. I always play Minecraft in first person. I just prefer first person. It's just a better experience in my opinion, by a lot. I've never played. Maybe I've played like 10 minutes of Gears of War, and I've only ever played one of the Mass Effects. I think it was 3. So I do have experience. Alan Wake was good too. I actually really like horror games that are third person. They're not better. Like I think Outlast still has like better environmentals than like I would even say like Dead Space. Like Dead Space is goddamn thematically perfect, but if it was first person, it might, I think it would catch me a little better. But like if I had like a Dead Space universe, but like a BioShock, you know, holy shit, I think I would die. I think I would actually die. We don't really know what about Chris Barrett. He's just gone. There was like a report. No, I don't. He might even still work at Bungie. I literally have no idea. What's his Twitter account say? I just remember when it was announced, when it was leaked or whatever, that the Valorant guy is now the game director of Marathon. It was just like Chris Barrett fell off the face of the earth. I don't know. But also, okay, so according to this, he is still an executive creative director at Bungie. I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff, and it seems like there's stuff surrounding that. So it's like, I don't want to like sit here and speculate about any of that. I'm sure there's information there to be learned somewhere, but I don't want to like sit here and I don't want to sit here and make any assumptions. So someone said he left. I think it might have been Griffin. I don't think I saw that, but maybe. I'm concerned for the Destiny franchise and even Marathon. I feel like we're hitting our endgame lull. I think it is more than justified, in my opinion. And you know, I've obviously spent an insane amount of my life on this franchise, so I think it is justified to be concerned about Destiny. More concerned than probably ever about Destiny. I will say, I know as much as you, like, I don't know anything extra about Marathon. I haven't been to any of the summits. I haven't been to any of the playtests, even though I solved the ARG and you think that would get you some perks. I know nothing about Marathon, but I do know a lot of people that are working on Marathon, and they're incredibly passionate people and very talented people. So, you know, I have a lot of faith that Marathon is going to be good, but we'll have to wait and see. I think the thing that's going to separate Marathon, there's two things. Bungie's ability to make unapproachable genres approachable. Bungie is probably the best producer or game developers in the entire industry at this. I mean, they helped revolutionize FPSs. They literally changed looter shooters in live service games forever. If there's one company I would put all my money in taking an unapproachable like PvP extraction shooter puzzly thing and making it more approachable, it's literally Bungie. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. And their marketing, Bungie's marketing team is like fucking unmatched. So I put a lot of faith in that, but we'll see. And like I said, like I don't know the financials. I'm a chemist. I'm just gonna say that, but I'm just through all this reporting and all the financials and Sony's, you know, history. If Marathon doesn't do well, I don't see any way Bungie survives with just Destiny, especially as we're gonna read like on this content cadence. Destiny bleeds money. Bungie bleeds money. They need something. So we know like nothing about Marathon doing well. We do know, I guess there was a round of playtests, and like a couple of weeks ago, and supposedly everyone loved it. It seemed a lot better than the first round of playtests, I believe, very early this year. So I don't think Marathon's gonna flop. And I don't think Frontiers is canceled either. It does not appear, as far as we are aware, the content plans for Destiny have not changed. But that's like, they haven't really told us what those are. We only have leaks, so it's hard to know. But Bungie didn't sit down over the last 3 days and decide, oh, there's going to be, 2 expansions a year or whatever. We're going to read it. That decision would have been made over the course of, months. So like, it seems like nothing has changed. If you don't support what the CEO is doing, protest by stop playing. Simple as that. I actually don't think it is as simple as this. I talked about this on The Last Word last night. I was on my friends at Bontis, Lord Cognito, and Ty Guy Travis. They do a podcast called Last Word. And this was one thing I expressed a lot of concern about, because it's not that easy, JG. And what I really appreciate about like unionized sectors of entertainment, let's say like the SAG-AFTRA, the protests and the strikes, when that happened, SAG-AFTRA and the union, they released a list of, and they said like, hey, if you're like a movie reviewer, if you're a content creator, any of this stuff, don't promote these movies, don't do that. I would absolutely love a set of guidelines from some video game union, whether it's a Bungie focused one, which obviously doesn't exist but it should, or a larger one, because if there's a way I can use my platform to either not support bad things or lend support to the developers, I will. I just think it's not as simple as not supporting. The reality is, and until I'm told otherwise by some guidelines like that, I'm going to maintain what I think is my common sense. But if I see credible statements otherwise, I will reevaluate. But right now, the way I see it, we all stop boycotting, or no, sorry, we all boycott Destiny. Then 850 people are out of a job, and they all lose also their livelihoods. That doesn't affect Pete Parsons. I mean, he'll be out of a job, but he's obviously rich. He's fine. He'll get a severance package from Sony. Man's fine. He either fucking retires in 5 years when his position is dissolved, or he retires now. Do you think he cares? I would wager, and I don't know this, but as part of the acquisition, there's probably some sort of agreement that Pete Parsons stays in his position for X amount of years or whatever. He'll get a golden parachute for sure. And it's not like he even needs it, but he will. He could retire right now, but it's just, the thing is the way I see it, boycotting and protest, all it does is affect more people, regular people. And it doesn't hurt the people that are this is just how our system is designed. There's very, 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 very little accountability for powerful people with money. That's how it goes. I think the better way to do it is to keep showing, being very loud about it, and almost I don't want to say like forcing Sony's hand, but a big company like Sony is not going to like this amount of unrest, especially if it's seemingly being caused by a single person. So, if Sony were to drive the future of Destiny 2, would you expect to see exotic weapon armor packs for sale, e.g. pay to win? I have no idea even where to start. If Sony were to drive the future of Destiny 2, I would have about 784 questions before I ever thought of that. I have literally no idea. A golden parachute would definitely be a bad idea. Do you know how heavy gold is? Well, if it's like gold flake, it's pretty brittle though. My rebuttal was that, why did Bungie go out of their way to make the final shape good then? It was because of apathy, and Bungie has said they're afraid of apathy. You're way losing me on that one, buddy. I don't really know what you're trying to say there. Why did Bungie go out of their way to make the final shape good? Then, because they still wanted money. I don't really know what answer you're looking for, but the answer is money. Because losing less money is better than losing more money. Like, I don't know what else you... Is Gambit done for? I saw the guy that led the Gambit team got laid off, and I immediately felt remorse for my 5 years of trashing Gambit. I'm really sorry. Why do you think they did the layoffs? Because Final Shape didn't make enough. The layoffs were going to happen no matter how good Final Shape did. The layoffs happened because seemingly Bungie leadership has been putting a lot of money into a lot of projects that have done absolutely nothing without focusing on the single project as much that is making them money. Just nothing. This happens at all. I mean, I am a chemist, so I can actually speak to this one because this happens at chemistry companies all the time. When you put an insane amount, not even chemistry, technology too, when you put an insane amount of money into R&D, but none of those things come to fruition, you know, it's there's a common saying in my type of workplace field. I'm totally industry, where it's about 90 to 95% of research projects fail, but those 5 to 10% that work will fund everything else. The problem is Bungie didn't have that. It was up to this point, 100% of everything that they've been investing in making all these incubations hasn't made them a goddamn cent. You know, and there's at least 5 projects that we've been made aware of now. No, the guy who, like, built Gambit, like, with Forsaken Jr. So. Yeah, it sucks, man. The solution is not, but my point is like, if we stop playing Destiny, they don't all of a sudden go, oh, they want Destiny content. If we stop playing Destiny, if Bungie is already losing money with us playing Destiny. If we stop, if we boycott, that's not like P. Parsons out of a job. That's like Bungie is fucking gone, boys. Like, I don't know if this is my understanding of it, but this isn't like oh, hey, stop playing Destiny for half a year and then they'll come back and make it good. It's, if they don't turn it around, if Marathon is not a success, if Destiny loses them even more money, there is no turning around. It's, hey, these really talented people are now gonna go work on these other Sony things over there. And Bungie's going in the fucking video game Hall of Fame with Game Informer. You know what I mean? There is no... You kind of disagree about Bungie just not existing? I don't think there's anything to disagree with. I mean, we've had all of these reportings coming out. Like, they are bleeding money. They took everything extra and they either killed it or spun it off. Destiny is being scaled back an incredible amount, according to leaks that we're going to go over here. Sorry, it's been 30 minutes. We haven't even started yet. Destiny is being scaled back an incredible amount, so it's going to be making them even less money. It is just Marathon at this point. This might be nihilistic, but I'd rather have no game studio instead of one that produces low quality products. I would rather 850 people be able to make a living rather than 0 people be able to make a living, personally. I'm looking at this much more from a humanitarian aspect, much rather than a consumer aspect, for sure. Because my priority will always be the people that deserve to have livings in an incredibly highly competitive. There's no guarantee that these people are able to find employment again, and definitely not quickly. I hope they do. You know, hopefully the Bungie name carries a lot on a resume, and they're all very obviously talented, or very talented people, but this isn't as simple as, oh, go find a job somewhere else. You know, it doesn't work like that in any industry, and especially not tech. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I'm afraid of, Mikey. It's you know, that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, part of their C-suite. I don't know if I would. This is an interesting question, and I don't know the answer to this. At my company, vice presidents would be considered part of our executive team. That's what we call our C-suite. So, Mark Noseworthy was, per his Twitter bio, VP of Destiny. So the question is, did Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith, are they considered C-suite level? I don't know. That might just be a semantics thing. You know, this might be it's kind of a vibe, who makes the decisions. But clearly, they were two very important people at Bungie. So my point being, their C-suite's obviously undergoing. We already know that the Sony Entertainment, the game guy, what's his name? Starts with an H. There's been leaks that apparently he's starting to oversee Bungie more closely, monitor them. Pete Parsons now reports directly to him, supposedly. Point being, there might be more changes going on here than to the C-suite exec team than we have been made directly privy to. Herman, thank you. Yes. So I don't know. There's a Herman Holtz, yeah. Just saying. I am never gonna come out here and be like, you know what? Destiny's gonna be worse than it has been. We're gonna get less content. Just lay off the rest of the 850 people. Close the studio. I think that is morally, I can never do that. You know, you can hold that opinion, and I don't. You know, that's you're right, but I think at the end of the day, as a gigantic company, Bungie has a moral responsibility to try to keep these people employed. And I think especially in America where we treat large corporations as gods, there should be a moral obligation on their part to try to provide financial stability where they can. And I will always try to hold them accountable for that and not contribute to more layoffs. So I think there are many ways to protest and call them out. And like I said, Sony's not going to like negative press, right? To some degree, there are other ways to handle this. So no, they definitely don't, Tromar. No, that's not how it works. I guess my argument should be they should have that moral obligation, not that they necessarily think they do. I guess I should say. Well, it is money issues, but it's money issues as a result of bad leadership decisions. So, I mean, Sony's in the market for live service, so it would just be criminally insane for them to let the franchise and employees disappear. The employees would not disappear. They would notice how 220 people were let go, and then almost as many people actually, yeah, like it's because it's 150 people were relocated to other studios, and then somewhere between 40 and 75 were spun off into another studio. So almost as much talent was let go, or that was let go, was retained in some way. A large part of what Sony acquired was the brain trust of Bungie, all that experience and talent. And part of recouping their investment, if Bungie isn't working out, is 100% going to be retaining as much of that talent within the Sony Entertainment ecosystem as possible. 1 billion%. That's how it works. What's up? Private companies have no board? That is not necessarily true. I mean, private companies are still owned by executives that make decisions, or they are going to be, they're just not publicly traded. You or I can't go and buy fractions of shares to have some form of input or whatever, but private companies still answer to people. And maybe those things are every company might call those different things or whatever, but there is still a group of people that you have to answer to regardless. Yeah, well, I mean, once again, they're not publicly traded shares, but you still hold portions of a company, shares of a company. It's private. Anyways, let's read this. Sorry, that's the whole point of this fucking stream. Jason Schreier. Destiny changed. This week, Sony Group Corp's Bungie shrunk from 1,300 employees to roughly 850. Deep cuts that are likely to change the nature of the long-running video game developer. Goddamn, I get hiccups right as soon as I start reading. We've been talking for 30 minutes, and I don't get hiccups until the moment I go to start reading. That's ridiculous. Bungie, the storied creator of the Halo franchise and the online game Destiny, said it laid off 220 people on Wednesday. Those cuts include several top executives. There we go. So I mean, that's more allusion to the C-suite undergoing some pretty big changes, who have been familiar with the company for decades, according to people familiar. The teams that were hit hard include audio, narrative, and player support. On social media, individuals share their layoff stories, including one person who said they were set to go on maternity leave starting Monday. Brutal. The company said it is also hoping to move 155 others to Sony Interactive Entertainment, while a separate group will spin out a new game company within Sony to continue working on an incubation project codenamed Gummy Bears. So, this is really interesting because I swear that Gummy Bears was confirmed to be, or was rumored to have been canceled like last year or early this year. I'm also really curious. Bungie had multiple incubation projects at different stages and stuff. What is so special about this one? Why is Sony taking such a risk on this one in particular? I think that's very interesting. So yeah, it's just interesting. This is the second layoff in less than a year for the revered game studio, which was founded in 1991 and has created two of the industry's biggest franchises in Halo and Destiny. But ambitious growth and some big misses led Bungie to lose money over the last 2 years, forcing the developer to cut costs, freeze salaries, and shed hundreds of workers. This week, to learn more about what happened and what comes next, I spoke to 10 current and former Bungie employees who asked not to be identified because they were not authorized to speak to the press. They described a company that grew too fast and tried to develop too many projects at once, spreading resources too thin rather than prioritizing its chief moneymaker, Destiny 2. And it's just so interesting to me because we all knew it. We all knew it as soon as all this was announced years ago that things were being worked on, and Destiny started to, around that Shadowkeep era, really like dwindle a little bit, and even especially the Witch Queen seasons, I would say, like, we all knew it. It's just weird that like a group of 10 people didn't seem, and unfortunately the 10 people with the most control either were too blind to see it or didn't care. Probably that one. So I'm really interested. People are going to try to leak whatever they can to make Bungie look even worse. It kind of depends. I am really curious because we know that many of these other games were shut down, all these incubation projects. So I'm really curious, like, Surely someone's going to spill the beans on what matter was. Someone's going to talk about the Tencent thing. If it's not gummy bears, it might be someone, you know, a bunch of people were let go of Marathon. Like, surely these people, like, they're obviously under NDA, but surely someone is going to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? It's just insane. I don't know. Very interesting. Anyways, sorry, is the music too loud or is it good? Most of the people were critical of Chief Executive Officer Pete Parsons, saying he had failed to take accountability for his own bad bets and that he'd been overly optimistic in his communication with his staff. This is a very, very large reoccurring thing that we keep seeing all over the industry every time. Bunch of layoffs. CEO comes out and is like, look, I took a bet. Sorry, you all lost your jobs. And this is my main problem. And in my videos and my live streams and in chats and wherever I talk about this on Twitter, I don't know how anyone could have the audacity to try to do this, but people always try to defend the CEO as if they're a fucking untouchable being. I do not understand it at all. One person or a small group of people making decisions that affect hundreds or thousands of people with no accountability, that cannot exist. That cannot happen. It is unexcusable. And I do not understand how anyone can look at the situation that is happening over and over and over and over again. I mean, there's been how many of these have happened across the tech industry in the last year? 20? 30? What are we doing? They're not gonna fuck you, little bros. Like, I just don't. I just don't even understand it. I really, this fascination with CEOs is ridiculous. I just do not understand it. I do not. So, who's glazing Pete? Brother. Or sister. Sorry. Literally go to any of the tweets, any of my live stream I did a couple days ago, the last word of the live stream we did yesterday, my video I put out last night. Dog. It's a business. Those people deserve to lose their jobs. They have to make money. It's like no one is saying businesses don't have to make money, but the brunt of the accountability should be on the people making the decisions. If you make bad decisions and nothing changes for you, but hundreds of people are displaced and lose their financial stability, there is immense problems with that system. Period. That is a fact. I don't even care. I just don't fucking understand, man. People, yeah, like, I guess if you're really nice about the CEO, maybe one day you'll be a billionaire CEO. Maybe that's how it goes. Fucking. I just don't even understand. I don't know. I'm so sick of that mentality. Some said Parsons and other company leaders spoke of Bungie magic, a confident mantra similar to ones preached by other elite video game studios that they can make anything work. See, BioWare, Arcane Magic. I know BioWare has undergone big things. Did Arcane do layoffs and stuff? I don't think I recognize that studio name. I'm just wondering if those are pointed examples there. Oh, Redfall. Okay. Well. Behind Redfall. Okay. Oh, Dishonored was sick, though. Yeah, I do. I think something happened to them after Redfall failed. I remember. I don't... Oh, they did close down, okay. And the peak with that was Prey. So I actually haven't played the new Prey. I watched my dad. This was really, so I got into video games when I was like really young, probably 7 or 8. Because I would watch my dad play video games. I would just pull out the chair next to him. He was a PC gamer. First game I ever watched him play was Quake 3 or 4, the one where you get turned into the bad guys, the Gorgs or whatever. What the fuck are they called? I don't remember. I watched him play BioShock. I watched him play Prey. In hindsight, very violent for a young kid, but awesome. Left 4 Dead. And it's really funny because I like people watch me play now. It's kind of a weird like full circle thing, but that was my first introduction to video games, was watching my dad play like incredibly violent games. So yeah, Quake 4 Strogg, thank you. I've only ever watched and played the original Prey. So when the new Prey didn't have anything to do with that, I was like, yeah, it didn't catch my attention. And then like everyone loved it. I should have played it, and it does give kind of BioShocky vibes, so I'm sure I would love it. I do have to go back and do that. So perfectly normal childhood. Hey, that turned out all right, I think. Prey's one of the best games I've ever played, no question. All right, I'll have to go back. Oh man. Bungie first released Destiny in 2014 in a partnership with Activision Blizzard Inc. under a contract that called for a developer to release a new product every year, full games alternating with expansions. Can you imagine how like Destiny would be real bad if that ended up happening? Can you? It would just be so different, right? It would be much. If the Activision thing worked or came to fruition, Bungie never would have revolutionized games as a service or live service games ever. You know what I mean? It just would have been much more like Borderlands-y, or it would have been so standard and boring and blah. Blah. Interesting. No, I haven't, Caden. But the schedule proved untenable for Bungie, which cut ties with Activision in 2019, largely so continue updating Destiny 2 rather than start from scratch with another sequel. Since then, Bungie has transformed Destiny 2 into a live service game, updating with new content and regular expansions. In early 2022, during an era of low interest rates and strong post-COVID sales across the industry, Sony purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion, looking at Destiny 2 as a model for its growing ambitions in live service games. Flush with cash, Bungie hired hundreds of new staff members and pursued a myriad of incubation projects, including mobile versions of Destiny, remakes of old games, and new franchises. None of this happened, right? Like, there are remakes of maybe not even remakes, like the original marathons have recently been redone, but I think that was like just random people that have been doing that with Bungie's blessing. Judson, thank you for the super chat. My problem with marathon changed from a traditional customized character to extraction hero shooter. People are tired of hero shooters. Look, that is such a minor aspect of games. I am going to wait. Like, what I care about so much more is the gameplay and what type of game. You know what I mean? Like, it is... How do I, like, talk about this? I don't really care about if I'm like, in Call of Duty, right? You don't customize your character. In Fortnite, you pick skins or whatever, and whatever. And it's fine, because the gameplay is fun, and it's fine, and they've both in their own right revolutionized battle royales. That's what matters. Versus a PUBG where it's like every part of you is customized or whatever. I don't really care about that. Like, sure, it has some here or there or whatever, and especially if like it's a hero shooter, like every character has like unique abilities or whatever. But honestly, I don't care. What I care about is what is unique and different and interesting in terms of how they approach the type of game and gameplay. And so until I get hands-on and we start learning about like what type of game it actually ends up being, I am not ever going to be like, oh, it's a hero shooter, goodbye. You know, I think a lot of people expect it to be like Overwatch 3 or Overwatch 2, but like a real Overwatch 2 or something. But it's never really how it was marketed. So I'm just going to like sit back and let them cook a little bit. And if it's good, it's good. And if I don't like it, then I'm not going to force myself to like it. You know what I mean? So people say they don't like X genre until a good version of said genre is out. I mean, that's how it goes, right? Like hero shooters were not really that popular. I mean, they here or there, but then Overwatch kind of revolutionized it. Battle Royales weren't really that popular, except in Minecraft, until PUBG came out, revolutionized it. It's like it just takes one, you know, and then it things blow up. But I don't really think extraction shooters or puzzly interesting game. Like I think there's a lot of unique aspects here that could work, but until we like actually see like gameplay, you know what I mean? We have like one CGI trailer and a bunch of like sticky notes from the ARG. You know what I mean? So let's wait and see what the game is before we condemn it for being a looter shooter. Or what the fuck am I talking about? Before being a hero shooter, sorry. So, Azercross clarified it's a hero extraction shooter. Yeah, but once again, that could mean a billion different things. Like if you just think about, if I just say, oh, this game is going to be a battle royale. Think about how many battle royales there are, and how many are. PUBG is completely unlike Warzone. It's completely unlike Fallout's whatever the fuck they did, Firefight or whatever. Is completely unlike Blackout. Is completely unlike Fortnite. Is completely unlike that Magic one. It's completely unlike the. It was like the 100 or something, not the TV show. There's a number one. It's completely unlike Minecraft Battle Royales. It's completely blah, 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 blah. You know, it being in a genre sets like an idea. I mean, I guess a better example of this is looter shooters. Destiny is nothing like First Descent, is nothing like Anthem, is nothing like The Division, is nothing like Borderlands, is nothing like, just because something is a genre is like a good start of an idea of what a game is, but it is far from a set box of what a game is. So let's, you know, I'm fine with like, you know, seeing how we're feeling a little bit, and like the CGI trailer, if maybe that got you excited, maybe it didn't, whatever. But until like, let's hold off on the condemnations or the praise, but especially condemnations, until we like see the product first. I think that's like a really good thing to do in general, personally. So, yo, Street, thank you for the super chat. One thing I'll say about Marathon's potential: extraction shooters barely exist on consoles, and that's a market that could be ripe for an audience. That's a very interesting point. And I think especially if they make it approachable, like I said, like if they add, you know, that unique aesthetic, and they play with people's love for like this community-wide like puzzle solving, that, I mean, like, I cannot believe Call of Duty Zombies was so successful early on. Black Ops 1, 2, 3, and kind of 4, kind of, you know, it definitely plateaued. But that idea where like the entire community would be like so hyped up, and this was before streaming was even as big as it is now. Like these moments where people, and it kind of capture that same raid race moment where all these people are racing to solve this puzzle, and that could be such a massive thing, and like no games are doing that. And that just seems like a huge miss. So if Marathon is still slated to kind of go into that direction, as Christopher Barrett teased, could be huge. So we'll see. The best extraction shooter was Division 1's Dark Zone mode. No other extraction shooter has been able to capture that feeling for me. And I never played Division, so I can't really comment on that. But I do remember people going crazy over that, so. Most extraction shooters go down the ultra-realistic route where guns need like 40 hotkeys to operate, and Bungie would absolutely not do that. Like I said, they make all of their games incredibly approachable. So and it'll be a twist. It'll never just, you know, Destiny isn't just a looter shooter. It's a looter shooter MMO. Fucking ever. It's a Bungie, or Destiny's like literally, it's dipped into almost every genre at this point. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's been my main turnoff because I've played DMZ. DMZ's fine. I've played Tarkov. Holy shit, I could not get into Tarkov because you can never tell when you are shooting something. And maybe some people love that like super realistic military simulation thing. I cannot do it, dog. If I don't get a hit marker, I'm getting the fuck out of that game. I do not care, okay? It's very satisfying. It's like, you get the little X. That's like, that's dopamine. If your game doesn't have that, get the fuck out of here. If I have to look for blood splatters, no way. No way. So there's definitely a huge opportunity to make that sort of thing way more, you know, normal gamer friendly, average gamer friendly. Maybe not normal. I don't want to call you abnormal if you like military sims. That's fine. But it's definitely not what I would consider like the average gaming experience's desire. So why would anyone play Marathon? Surely it's not worth the time if they just gut the game after a year. I mean, so 2 comments on that. One, we have no indication, like, nothing here ever has suggested the longevity of Marathon. So that's like pure speculation and whatever the opposite of copium is. But also, not like plenty of games come out, like literally every Call of Duty lasts less than a year. The vast majority of games don't last a year. The vast majority of games don't last a year. So that's kind of a silly question, I think, or comment. Because people play everything else that doesn't last a year. So that's why. Because that's like what normal people do. In fact, we are the abnormal ones that have been playing the same franchise for 10 years. And have been playing the same franchise for 10 years and are still getting incredibly distraught at the idea of not the franchise necessarily ending, but scaling back after a decade. We're the fucking weirdos, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but the rest of the gaming community is definitely like, what the fuck is wrong with those people? No kill confirmations in Tarkov is so hard to get used to. Yeah, I have to play PUBG with the blue blood splatter for like that exact reason. I just can't. God, I'm such a zoomer when it comes to games, but fuck, I need the plus 50 points for kill. You know what I mean? I live off of that. Are you expecting Marathon 2 in 2265 then? If you play Marathon for 3 years and then 1 week they fire the devs you love to get the game? Oh my. Oh, 2026. Are you expecting a Marathon 2 in 2026? You play Marathon for 3 years and then 1 week they fire the devs you love and got the game? Well, Marathon is, by inside reports, slated to come out next year. I'm so confused what you're even saying. I don't even know what you're saying, but that's fine. I think Marathon will be a game, and I'm not gonna like. It will definitely be a game. That's all we know so far. And it had hyperwave aesthetics, but maybe that, or neo wave aesthetics, but who knows at this point. So I'm gonna like, once again, I think it's a very good idea to always reserve reservations until like you've seen the thing. Because like we know literally nothing about it, and making any conclusions is very silly. So but yeah, this is interesting. Mobile versions of Destiny. Do you think this just means Stadia, or do you think this is something else? I don't know. Very interesting. Remakes of old games. Like literally none of this happened. that's what's so confusing. Like I said, like in research companies, tech or chemistry, materials, whatever. Like I said, like usually the goal is 5 to 10% of projects come to fruition. Nothing came to fruition with Bungie, so it's crazy. Like I guess Marathon is going to. Oh, knock on all the wood, but it's kind of crazy. Why did Bungie make other games rather than expand their Golden Goose, which is Destiny? It seems risky to jump on the Marathon in the extraction genre when you have a dedicated player base. Well, we've already established that was there are numerous bad decisions. Sticking with the same franchise, which has been reportedly bleeding money, though, is like probably not the best business move. I think there's a couple of things. I think the nail in the coffin, as I interpret it, is not necessarily the fact that they decided to go develop Marathon. It's the fact that they decided to double the size of the company, build and renovate a huge new headquarters, spend or spin off like fucking 10 incubation projects or whatever, and then none of it made any money. And then like a slight, not necessarily recession, but like a correction hit. So it's like, it's bad projections, bad investments, bad predictions. What did I say the first thing? Did I say predictions twice? I don't even fucking know anymore, but numerous bad decisions. But I don't think going all in Destiny is necessarily the best move they could have made either. Destiny's at a point where I don't really think you can attract new people anymore, especially with Destiny 2. It's kind of capped out, and it makes sense to diversify, but the diversification can't affect your main thing, and you can't diversify too much. So it was just a bunch of bad decisions. I really don't think necessarily that looking at something new, like a lot of very large successful game companies have multiple franchises that they do. That is not an uncommon thing, and that's not necessarily a bad way to do it, in my opinion, but nothing making you money is a bad way to do it. So I understand that, but if you're making another game, so why not expand the universe by making other games based in the Destiny universe? Do I have a little paragraph for you coming up here, buddy? You're going to be very excited about that. Well, or distraught. Probably that one. But the following year, as the industry's pandemic surge slackened, Bungie grappled with several problems. An expansion called Lightfall failed to impress fans, while Marathon, an extraction shooter game that was well into development, struggled to coalesce. So this is really interesting that it almost seems like they expected Marathon to be out by now, which I never thought. Like, when we got the reveal was almost exactly a year and a half ago, right? I think it would have been in... Yeah, because it was when we moved. No, it was in May. It would have... Because Sorry, I'm trying to remember when the ARG happened. It would have been in May of 2023. So, like, a year and a quarter ago. That was the reveal of the game. It's interesting. Meanwhile, the next Destiny 2 expansion called The Final Shape was also floundering and needed more time to come together. During one grim meeting in late 2023, according to people familiar, Parsons told staff that the company had missed its revenue targets by 45% and was losing money. Bungie delayed The Final Shape and Marathon and subsequently laid off around 100 employees. Yo, Street Shadow, thank you for super chat. Just to clarify on how tech game devs work, they all work on secret projects. Incubations is smart, but doing too many at once can be bad. 2 is about all you want to do. I work in the game biz. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but it's also going to be a number thing of how many people do you put on these things. If it's like, when do you pull the cord? How invested do you get, right? Like, there's going to be the same thing happens in research. If a project is obviously not going to make money, do you continue to do it for the fundamental knowledge that you'll get? And I guess the video game equivalent would be like the tech you build or the experience you build, and hope that'll be applicable down the road. I have noticed when people love an idea they came up with, sometimes they do not rationally pull the cord when they should. And I would be very surprised if that didn't happen with some of these incubation projects, and they took resources for far too long after it was more than obvious that they probably weren't gonna do something. So thank you for the super chat again, and for the insight as well. Yeah, so this also is really interesting because like if Marathon is expected to come out next year after, and it was delayed, like was Marathon originally supposed to come out this year? Like was it supposed to go like Final Shape straight into Marathon? That almost kind of makes sense, actually. Like Final Shape, okay, now we're gonna not really a hiatus for Destiny, but you know, we're gonna switch the focus off to our other franchise while we develop the next Destiny thing. That seems like it would have, if Final Shape came out in February like it was supposed to, you know, Marathon in the summer seems like it could have worked. So interesting. Right now, it is reported that Marathon is supposedly still coming out next year. That is from Grub. Seems very confident in that fact. I think actually, I think Jason Schreier says it in this report as well. It seems like there are a number of sources corroborating the fact that the plan is still Marathon next year. Although Jason Schreier might be repeating what Grubb said. We'll get to it here in a second. Feeling pressure from a parent company seeking increased profitability and facing its own set of challenges, Bungie's executives charted a new course. Both Marathon and Destiny 2 received new leadership as Sony's video game unit replaced its CEO and laid off 900 people. Earlier this year, Sony chairman Hiroki Tataki, I probably butchered that, sorry, publicly criticized Bungie, saying he wanted to see more accountability. Employees were hopeful that the extra time on the Final Shape would lead to a great product, and it did. And the expansion received rave reviews, but the critical acclaim had little impact on the deeper cuts that were already in the works. These layoffs have been planned for a while. Very sad. Before the Final Shape delay, Marathon was going to come out in fall, but I don't remember where this was confirmed. That's crazy. We could be playing Marathon like right now. God, I can't wait to start seeing what it is. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a very big moment for Bungie, for Destiny, for our community, just to finally see what it is. You know? I'm so curious. I'm so infinitely curious. So, we'll see. In a blog post announcing the layoffs this week, Parsons acknowledged that the company had grown too much. We were overly ambitious and our financial security margins were subsequently exceeded. We began running in the red, he wrote. One of Bungie's big bets, this is so interesting. Everyone lock the fucking pay attention, okay? Lock in. One of Bungie's big bets was Payback, an incubation project set in the Destiny universe that would shake up the formula in major ways according to the people familiar. It would pivot from a first person to a third person perspective and allow players to use franchise's characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters and solve puzzles. The pitch took elements from popular games such as Warframe and Genshin Impact. Okay. Personally, not sold on this idea. We'll never see it. It has been reportedly shelved. It has been reported. Once again, this is all leaks and insider sources and stuff. So any of this could be sort of right, sort of wrong. You know, who knows? But it seems like a big reason why Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith were let go is because they were kind of in charge of Payback. And now that Payback is gone, they don't have a purpose. So goodbye. You know, it is like an interesting, this almost kind of sounds, they don't say it here. You know, they cite Warframe and Genshin Impact. This seems very like Monster Hunter-y to me. Like, oh, I'm going to go take Zavala and go beat the shit out of some random monster. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it seems to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a really just that pitch. Which once again, it's a very vague pitch, and this will never exist certainly. So it's like we'll never know. But I'm not super sold on that. Just like Outriders, maybe not like Outriders. It because they do focus on puzzles. It could be a little bit more remnant-y. But very interesting. I don't know if it would have been a gacha game. I think they just mean like the world aspect of Genshin. But who knows? I don't know. Although several internet rumors over the last months have suggested that Payback would be a sequel to Destiny 2, it was a significant departure from the previous two games, according to people familiar, and would have been much more perceived as a spin-off. But 2 months ago, Bungie canceled Payback to prioritize games that were more imminent, moving the bulk of its team to Marathon, which is targeting a release in 2025. That's incredibly telling. I think this, to me, says Bungie needs money right now, and they need Marathon to be a success. So, which, I mean, we all know. But this does almost seem like a desperate move, a little bit. From this very vague, small description of the events that are happening. It is reading like a move of desperation to me. All you can say is lol. That's in, yeah. I just don't even know. So what this? Let's read these next few paragraphs, and then I want to touch on something that I think is very. I don't know if scary is the right word, but as a fan of the Destiny franchise, it's a little scary. The company also plans to continue updating Destiny 2, although it will no longer pursue regular paid expansions as it did in the past, according to people familiar. During one recent meeting, a company leader told attendees that sales of each expansion had declined year over year, including June's The Final Shape, so they would be moving away from an annual release model. Some staff said they're optimistic about the vision for Destiny 2 under the new director, Tyson Green, a Bungie veteran, who took the helm earlier this year. In the coming months, the people said Bungie will look to retain and attract players with smaller scale content drops modeled after Into the Light, a well-received update in April that added a new mode to the game. Rather than selling this content, Bungie will aim to release it for free along with overhauls to activities that it hopes will appeal to hardcore players. Other vague plans for the future include a storyline that will feature characters and worlds in Destiny not yet explored. One more paragraph and then we'll talk. Fans have wondered if Bungie might one day start anew with Destiny 3, but such a project has not been in development, according to people familiar. Bungie is instead looking to create a smoother onboarding process for Destiny 2, such as a rebranding to attract new players who might be turned off by a game that can now feel impenetrable to those familiar with ample proper nouns. What the fuck? Man, I have so many thoughts. We know that reportedly the Raid and Dungeon team is still going strong. It looks like we're still going to be getting endgame content, which is good. If there's any content that, if I had to be, I mean, obviously best case scenario, we get all of it. But if you were like Scarrow, you can have campaigns in Destiny or you can have new raids. I'm going to pick new raids 10 out of 10 times, 100%. Like, it's not even a question. It's not even close. I said this yesterday. I personally, like, if the option was you get an entire episode or you get Wrath of the Machine, I'm going to pick Wrath of the Machine because I'm going to spend almost certainly more time in that raid than playing episodic content. Now, that might not be a super popular opinion, but I am this is not this what I'm talking about is from other people. That is not what is being said here. Supposedly, Raid and Dungeon team for the foreseeable future is still chugging away. So I get there's a lot of things to look at here. I guess I should have gone one paragraph at a time instead of skipping to the end. My bad. There has been a couple of leaks, once again, take them with a grain of salt, that supposedly we are going to be getting 2 smaller expansions paired with 2 seasons a year. Once every 6 months. And they'll drop about the same time. So it'll be kind of like expansion with the season. The season won't really have story content. And then expansion, season content. Now, might not be true. Might be true. Who the hell knows at this point? But Into the Light definitely I can see that being like the seasonal seasonal content without story. Like that kind of fits that as well. So I don't know. What is incredibly obvious is we're going to be getting less content. It's free, I guess. So like, if it's going to be making them less money, surely it's not going to be like as much or as high quality, I imagine. I don't know. Like this is worrying. This is worrying to me. So this is rebranding suggests that Destiny 2 might just become Destiny, like World of Warcraft. I think that would be very confusing, but maybe. I don't know. Also, a full rebrand is really strange. Like, are they putting all of Destiny's content into a single game? I don't think so. I think porting all of Destiny 1 and all the vaulted stuff into Destiny 2 would be unbelievably time intensive and expensive, and I don't think they're doing that. I think they're just going to be like, Destiny. I don't know what this looks like, man. We do know that the 2 episodes aren't affected. So we get Heresy is the third one. Revenant is the second one. So we get Revenant, we get Heresy. And then next year I don't know. We know that they let go a huge part of the narrative team. We know that they have gotten rid of a huge part of the music team. We know that they've gotten rid of like player support and a lot of systems people. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what all this means. And a lot of that, like music and stuff, if they need new music, they'll probably just contract it out. They'll go to Fiverr. They'll say, hey, someone write us a new Destiny expansion theme for $20. We don't care if we use AI. It just needs to be something cool. And then they'll get it. So who the fuck knows, man? Who knows? No, I totally agree. All teams that are a big part of that makes Destiny what it is, all the special parts that make it stand out. I agree. Like, I totally agree. Totally agree. We'll be getting content, but how much like feeling or driving forces will there be behind that content? I don't know. This makes me very nervous. They shot themselves in the foot with Sunshine content. I dislike the DCV as much as like literally everybody else. But that was 5 years ago or 4 years ago or whatever. These problems are very separate and very different from that. Okay? I'm not saying it was a good move. Might have been a necessary move from everything we've been hearing. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. And I'm not saying that it isn't not in some way playing into this. But the DCV is not responsible for these layoffs. Let's be incredibly clear, okay? I don't know. Sounds like anyone who's a game designer or engineer wasn't let go. I think I saw a couple of engineers let go, or moved into Sony. I think, but yeah, I have not seen anyone who's like designing like gameplay. I haven't seen anyone that's like sandbox team, armor team, weapon team, rad team. I have not seen anyone like that laid off. So it almost feels like I haven't seen. Were there environment artists lay off? I don't know. I'm really scared because all those people are incredibly talented. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want a world where we get Destiny content that doesn't have soul. You know what I mean? That doesn't have the Destiny music or the amazing, a lot of times amazing narrative, or the feeling. I don't want just gameplay. There were a few artists laid off. Okay. DCV did affect new players coming to the game. Yeah, sure. That's fine. I think there were much larger problems. Like, I think there's ways to work around that with the new player experience. I guess that is a fair way to approach that. I suppose. I don't think any of that is fixed by a rebranding, but we'll see. Street Shadow, thank you for the super chat, and Judson, thank you for both of yours as well. Honestly, they'll probably rely on Sony resources for audio. They have several real dedicated teams for doing that in all studios. That's a good point. That's a fair point. Yeah, maybe we'll start seeing a little bit more collaboration. We already know that some of the weapon designs and stuff have been outsourced over the last couple of years. So, I'm kind of scared because, sorry, I got ice. I didn't mean to get ice. I think the best way to make Destiny more approachable is a reset. But you can't do a reset and not release any content. So, like, I genuinely think the answer is a Destiny 3. I genuinely, like, every bone in my body. It's much more approachable for new people. You can rebrand it any way you want. It helps refresh for the veterans. You can refocus any sort of the systems that have been built up on each other and broken. We are power crept to fuck in back right now. I genuinely think that would be a huge good thing. And there's all sorts of things that we don't know about, development costs and time, but the fact that they haven't even been working on anything like that, and maybe I'm just being naive or ignorant, I don't know, but holy shit. Agreed. I would love an M rating too. If they want to make a very, like, highly profitable game, I would say M rating is probably not the way to go. There are examples. I mean, Call of Duty, Halo M. I don't know if Halo's M or T, but probably not what they would do for a huge game like this. So I don't know. I would want a new game with nothing carrying over from Destiny 2. I completely agree. But they obviously don't have the people working on that, or it's just not going to happen anytime soon. If Destiny 3 happens, it is 5 to 7 years away, right? Like, reasonably, if not, and that's like if they started development today. So I don't know. I hope there's something going on in the background. I am pretty confident if there is something going on in the background, it would be reported right here. This is feels pretty comprehensive of everything going on at Bungie. So I don't know. Those left at Bungie will now have to make do with a smaller staff, tighter schedules, and a company that looks significantly different than they did 3 days ago. Longtime veterans like Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy exited this week, according to people familiar, as did several other top leaders, leaving lingering questions about future decision-making at Bungie. Bungie staff who lost their jobs are receiving packages that include at least 3 months of severance and health benefits, said the people familiar. Okay, I'm good. But just like last year's layoff, anyone who received stock from Sony purchased yet that has not yet vested will watch it disappear. Another painful twist, turbulent acquisition. Man, I don't even know. All of this is very worrying. Really, honestly, it's quite crazy for me and people aren't going to agree with this, but all of this information has me feeling really bad about Destiny and pretty good about Marathon, actually, because but it really feels like all of these reports, everything is like, it's quite obvious that Bungie knows Marathon needs to go very well. And they're pouring a shit ton of resources into it. And they know it has to be an amazing... It feels very much like Final Shape felt with the delay, right? Like when Final Shape was delayed, I said it is very obvious Final Shape, Bungie knows it has to be the best. And Bungie's very good at delivering historically in those situations. So if Marathon was ever going to be a good game, it is definitely going to be a good game now. You know, if that's in the cards. And Destiny just feels like I will obviously still always be covering Destiny, and I'll be playing Destiny and grinding it. If content's scaled back, my content is also scaled back. As far as Destiny goes, like hopefully I find other things that I'm interested in to play and cover and stuff as well. But a week ago, I was feeling incredibly good about Destiny and very unsure about Marathon. And over the last 48 hours, it has completely flipped where I'm like, yeah, I mean, Marathon's got to be a fucking phenomenal game. There's no other way for this to work. If it doesn't, Bungie's like in very like dead trouble. And I'm now very unsure about Destiny. So this could all be planned to make Bungie players jump to Marathon. No. Can we stop? I don't like conspiracy theory culture. Everything needs to be a grand thing. Completely different games, completely different audiences. Let's just not. If nothing else, Remnant has another DLC coming out this year. Yeah, maybe I'll go back. I didn't really I never finished the... Yeah. I don't know if I finished the DLC. The first one, the Fallen King guy, bro thing. Yeah, maybe I'll be a Remnant player now. Oh, yes, we'll move everyone over to the extraction shooter. That'll make them love us again. Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on. It's a gamble. It's not, like, they're already making a big enough bet or gamble on Marathon. They didn't purposely fucking kill Destiny to do it. So. First one was good. Second one was kind of mid. There's been two. Oh my fuck. There's been 2 Remnant DLCs? I don't know why they would kind of just sort of give up on Destiny. I mean, Destiny has been, by many reports over many years, bleeding for a long time. They have been trying so many different things to make Destiny work for years. They didn't just give up on it, and they're still not giving up on it. It is still reportedly bleeding money, and they're still doing it, you know, significantly scaled back in terms of content being produced and team, but they're still doing it. You know what I mean? They're just not all in on Destiny. So, yeah, once again, like, Trouser, like, maybe you weren't here when we discussed this the first time. He says, or they say, Marathon won't scratch the itch for a large portion of the current Destiny, or PvE only Destiny community. I cannot stress this enough, okay? I cannot stress this enough. Marathon was not designed for the Destiny community to love. That is not the point of Marathon. You are a company, and you have a product that one group of people loves, and that product, your product space requires investment and time. You do not make a second product that cannibalizes the first product. You diversify. You target a brand new group of people with brand new interests that you're not stealing business from your first game. You're adding new business opportunities. It is not in no shape, way, form, anything ever was Marathon meant for you or me. Even though I am excited for Marathon because I'm like a puzzle freak. And once again, that might not even be the vision anymore. Who the fuck knows? But it's not intended for you to like. That was never the intention. Ever. Honestly, the fact that it made it all the way through the 10-year plan is a miracle. If Destiny dies and it truly accomplished something rarely ever seen in gaming, it is pretty wild. We were talking about this earlier, Joe. By the way, how are you doing? Hope you're doing all right in these trying times. It is pretty fucking insane. The insane accomplishment that Destiny 2 has done, that Destiny and Destiny 2 have done. And just like, even though it has had an unbelievable life cycle, holy fuck, I'm so distraught. You know what I mean? It is ridiculous what they have achieved. Any other franchise by this point, I'm like, just fucking put me out of my misery. But Destiny, man, I will always want more. It is unfucking believable. You have a bad feeling that Marathon might backfire? Not necessarily just Marathon, but it's not part of the problem. Once again, like, Marathon might be successful. Hopefully it is. I think all those devs deserve it. Hopefully it is. But it is one of these incubation projects that has been taking part of Bungie's funds. It is, like, by definition part of the problem right now. That might change in the future if it starts being profitable, but the main issue, as far as I can tell, is investment in all of these research incubation, I keep saying research, incubation development projects that have yielded no cash flow. And Marathon, up to this point, is that. It is the most successful of them, probably. And it will almost certainly make some money, but we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. I'm just glad they didn't, like, pull a Warner Brothers and, like, kill Marathon and take the tax write-off or whatever. I don't know, like, I know you can do that with movies. I don't know if you can do that with video games. These content packs will not be enough to get people engaged. I'm really quite curious about, not numbers or anything, because they're not looking to keep, like, the way this is described here, they don't want to keep people engaged, like normal people. It says, sorry, Bungie will aim to release it for free along overhauls to other activities as it hopes will appeal to hardcore players. I guess the rebranding is slated to appeal to new people, but these first-hand reports are very specific at hardcore players. It almost seems like they want, like, a smaller dedicated audience rather than a large thing. But I'm very curious, if this is all free, where is the money coming from? Are we still doing dungeon passes? Are we still, is this just Eververse Supreme? If the leaks are correct and it's 2 expansions and 2 seasons, do the expansions cost money and the seasons are just free? Because as this is laid out right here, this does not say, to me, we want to make money. Which just can't be the truth. So I don't really know what's happening here. We require a dedicated team of developers that want to make a game that aren't affected by a greedy hierarchy. The unfortunate thing is historically, you have small studios that start off as this, and then they become big studios. And then they succumb to this. This happened to, like, every franchise I have ever loved. like everything. It's not even just video games. It's like I'm so sick of people's passion projects. Fuck, I'm becoming my dad. My dad is I raised when I was being raised, he introduced me to Metallica. That was Metallica was like my gateway band into metal, and he introduced me to Metallica, and he just gave me their first 4 albums. And I independently found the Black Album, Load, Reload, Death Magnetic, Saint Anger, and I remember asking him when I was probably 12 or 13. We had a conversation. I was like, "Why do you only have these 4 first albums?" Uh, and this is going somewhere, I promise. And he's like, "Oh, they sold out with the Black Album," which I don't think is necessarily true for Metallica. But that was the first time I learned that my dad loves things until they become popular, and then he fucking hates them. And I've always wondered about that. He did the same thing for The Walking Dead. My dad was a huge fan of The Walking Dead comics. We went to Atlanta. We took a couple day trip to Atlanta to watch the filming of The Walking Dead pilot when I was probably 15 or 16, whatever year that was. And that scene where Rick jumps out of the tank and he runs and he meets Glenn in the alleyway, they absolutely 100% had to take us out of that shot, like CGI us out, because we were standing at the end of the street watching them for like 8 hours do that scene. Same thing with Walking Dead. Season 3, Season 4 started becoming really popular. He started hating it. I never understood it until right now. And now I just put it together. It's because things become big, then they become so soulless, dude. Here we are. So, there are no albums after Injustice. This will be my hottest take of all time, but my favorite Metallica album is Death Magnetic. And I know people don't love that. My gateway band was Megadeth. My dad also loves 3 or 4 Megadeth albums. It wasn't the first couple, I don't think. But I actually don't know. Megadeth has like 50 albums. It's really hard to keep up with. But my dad, with the 4 Metallica albums, gave me Countdown to Extinction, which is the best Megadeth album. Rust in Peace and Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? And also, yeah, they were another gateway band for me. I never liked them as much as Metallica, but same thing with them. As soon as they hit a certain popularity, my dad was like, I hate these guys. It's so crazy, man. I don't know. I never understood it until right now. Things need to stop becoming popular. But also not, because like, oh man, it is so magical when the final shape, when Into the Light final shape, like honestly, like people aren't gonna agree with this, but that is prime for me. Those will always be my best. Yeah, and it's just because it's the entire community is so many fucking people, unbelievable amount of people, just enjoying the same thing, and we're all happy, and we're all solving puzzles, and we're all just it's everywhere. And maybe this is my skewed perspective as a content creator, but go on Twitter and all my friends are loving it, and all their communities are loving it, and then I stream and everyone's loving it, and that doesn't happen if a game is unpopular, And like these huge movements when Among Us is really popular and there's millions of people playing it, and the 1 month where Fall Guys was popular, and I love that sense of community and everyone is just enjoying it. It's like the next part of that I hate, but I don't dislike things becoming popular. I love it, but my favorite bands, like Ice Nine Kills is my favorite band of all time. They have blown up, and I love it because people fucking love them. And it's great to have all these conversations and see so many people get excited about it. It's like the next part that sucks. Yeah, golden age, but now we're experiencing the collapse. As cheesy of analogy as that is, I mean, dead on, man. Oh, that's sick. That's sick, Joe. Uh, so anyways, that's my little rant. I'm glad Destiny was as popular as it was, but fuck, I'm so sad Destiny was as popular as it was. Know what I mean? I totally agree, Mikey. That is their monetization method has always been a little But I'm sure the music will be sick though. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah. I don't understand why. Like, if a company makes a product that brings in money, why would they not try to improve it instead of making a whole new thing? Because we have this really broken way in our society where, once again, it is pretty expected across every industry for 10 to 15% growth, depending for your thing. And so, what makes a lot more game, like if you have Destiny and Destiny's bringing in, let's just say $1 billion or what, obviously that's actually, I don't even know what scale Destiny brings in. I have literally no idea, but like, math is easy if we bring in $1 billion, from one product, and you need to increase that by, you need to now bring in 10 more percent, so $100 million more dollars. It's a lot easier to make a new product that will bring in that money versus just like slightly making Destiny a little bit better and hoping that you retain all that value and increase it. Happens literally in every industry. Every industry. It is a lot easier to capture like new application spaces or market spaces than it is to slightly improve on the one you already own. It is how it goes. This is my main complaint. What I guess this ties back into the popular thing that I was just talking about. I am so, if you have a huge company that is doing very well, and you, like I said, I know this is not the reality, but I feel like if you have all the benefits of being a major company, you should be morally responsible in terms of supporting people's livelihoods. And if you are a company like Bungie and you are employing 800 to 1,000 people and you're doing it very comfortably, the fuck are we doing? Why do we it's all these risks. It's every time we take these risks and we try to expand, this is when it all falls apart. It falls apart more times than not, and at least anecdotally. And it's just like, I wish we had a mentality in America specifically, but across the world, where it's just like, you can just be good enough. You can just live in your space exactly where you are, and just try to maintain. I'm just sick of that. I'm just so sick of it. It happens everywhere. It's not just Bungie. It happens at the company I currently work at. It happens all over the place. Just be content with supporting a local economy and reaping your benefits. You're already rich. Just like fucking, just vibe, man. Just vibe. Unsustainable growth is just, that can't just be the endless pursuit. So yeah. Anyways, that's where I am. It's how it goes. But no Destiny 3. Destiny 2 looks like it'll be a little scaled back. It does bring me a lot of joy. Or maybe not joy. Let's not say that. I am hopeful because Into the Light fucking banged. So it's like, that's kind of cool, I guess. Like, honestly, I don't want this to be out of pocket, but I would rather Into the Light than Season of the Echoes. Is that out of pocket? I don't think that's necessarily out of pocket. But also, Into the Light brought back like fan favorite stuff. Like, you can't do that forever. There's only so much stuff left, so I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I have no idea. But Into the Light was good, so at least I have that little dopamine recognition in my head where I'm like, oh, that was actually kind of fun. But only reportedly 2 of those a year is very rough, and no yearly expansion is very rough. So who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? So yeah, I don't know. But hey, at least we, if Marathon does truly come out next year, we should probably hear something about it in the next 6 months. So there's that. Is there a PlayStation something? Game Awards or something? because I would expect to hear about it in either Q1 or Q2 of next year. August State of the Play. I don't think they would announce it a year early. If it is supposed to come out, if it is slated, we don't know. They just say 2025. If it is potentially slated to come out in fall of 2025, I don't think they'll announce it yet. I would expect first half of next year. If it comes out in the first half of next year, then maybe at the State of the Play. So it's also kind of scary because if we get 4 seasons a year and 1 sucked or 2 sucked, it was kind of okay. It balanced out. If we get 3 episodes a year and 1 sucks, it's like, But if we get 2 things a year, if we get 2 content drops a year and 1 of them is bad, oh, fuck, we're cooked. So, I don't know. I think there was something saying Bungie would be at the State of Play and it was assumed for Destiny because it lines up pretty decent with episode 2 starting, but I could be wrong. I have not seen anything about that, but what is actually, let me just Google State of the Play August date. Do we have an official date? Curse of Osiris Era Part 2. At least with Curse of Osiris, we knew that a bigger DLC was coming. It doesn't look like there's a date for it yet, but people expect it to be in August. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we'll watch it live. Hopefully something happens. And hopefully there's more puzzles than ARGs. I have a reputation to defend. I am the defending champion, my friends. Where's my raid belt? Oh, goddamn. So. Alrighty, well, that's kind of the majority of what I wanted to discuss today. I don't think... Let me check Twitter real quick. Let me see if anything else has really come out. Yeah, I can't believe Game Informer shut down today, by the way. That's insane. That is literally insane. So. Oh, shit. So, this is confirmation that Chris Barrett did actually, according to LinkedIn, I think this is LinkedIn, left in April. So yeah, that means Chris Taylor, Mark Noseworthy, Luke Smith. Is Scott Taylor still there? Scott Taylor might be the last one standing, which is a very, that's actually super on brand for Scott Taylor, actually. If he is, he's like definitely got the vibe of the guy in the movies that is like the last person standing. It's not in his Twitter bio. Oh, and Steve Cotton. I forgot about Steve. Yeah, Steve Cotton's an OG too, so. Our new game director was laid off? No, I don't think he was. What's the Valorant game director's name? That's now a Marathon game director? Marathon game director. Joe Ziegler. I don't think... There's no way they laid off the game director for something they're putting all... There's literally... That did not happen. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to try to find his Twitter account. But there's literally a 0% chance that happened, actually. They're putting all their eggs in that basket right now. They didn't lay off the guy driving the ship. It did not happen. He still shows us there on LinkedIn? Oh. Well, that was linked to me. That's from Dylan. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Dylan didn't send it to me, but that is a tweet that Dylan made in June. So who the fuck knows? Maybe he's still there. I don't know. It's so hard because they all... It's so weird when there's these people that are like very publicly facing and then they're just gone. It's like, where did they go? So. Oh, you mean Scott and Joe? Okay, okay. My bad. Yeah. Game's called mid-August. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not during GCX. This is another thing, man. Also, like 50 million things down the list of things that suck about this week, and it's not really that important. But last year, they released the awful state of the game right before, like literally the day before GCX. I remember I was standing in line for the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and then I get 500 pings on Twitter, and then I'm reading it, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, this is not great. Then we're at GCX, and everyone's just bummed out. And I was so excited. Everyone. Because I was like, oh my god, everyone's going to be so happy because the final shape and Into the Light were fucking awesome, and people are going to be so excited. Bruh. Once again, not even close to anywhere near an important thing at all, but what the fuck? I just wanted to have fun. Now we're all gonna be crying, man. Ugh. The vibe's tanking faster than the Titanic and the second Titanic, bro. Dowda was complaining about this as well. Was he actually? Oh, man. And honestly, like, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But if Destiny scales back, I think, I don't know if GCX is in the cards for me going forward. I've always enjoyed it, but if I enjoy it because I get to hang out with my Destiny friends and meet Destiny people, meet you guys. And if GCX transitions into a very not Destiny thing because Destiny isn't that much of a thing, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna go enjoy this year and have some fun. Hopefully not for the last time, but potentially for the last time with a bunch of my Destiny friends, and we'll fucking see what happens, man. Hopefully Bungie still goes. Bungie had huge things planned for this GCX. You know? Now DMG and Cosmo just have to like fucking take it, you know? They just have to go, and if they're still going, and just fuck. We stream it, Destiny gets shut down or Bungie dies. This is something I've always said. It's, you know, I am very passionate about sharing my passions. Could have said that a little better, but I hope there are other games that catch my attention. I'm never going to like force myself. This is not my job. This is not, I'm not financially reliant on this at all. Not even a little bit. If I find other games that catch my attention and I think I would enjoy making content for it or streaming it, then I will. 100%. But I'm not going to force myself to do it. So it just kind of depends what happens. This is also like literally every time someone's like, hey, Scarrow, why don't you ever become a full-time content creator? Because now I still get a PhD salary. And that's sick. And I still have my benefits. And I, you know, Destiny dying doesn't mean I don't get to retire. I get to still retire, hopefully, in my 50s. So it's like, you know, this is why I never will become a full-time content creator. Unless I'm making like $1 billion a month, then I don't fucking care. Then I'll retire and start a cool-ass car collection or something. I still think you should be streaming on Twitch too. As much as I disagree with some of the things Google and YouTube do, I detest what Amazon does. So no. It's a moral thing, really. You know, whatever. It's just not in the cards for me. Yep. Alrighty, well, pretty fun stream. Not really, but it's, you know, it's good. I enjoy talking through these things. It makes me feel a lot better. We'll probably do some more gameplay streams sometime. I I still have to run 15 battlegrounds, so that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping we're done with the crushing announcements. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And there'll definitely we get Solstice next week, so maybe that'll be fine. But we'll see. I will never stream Gambit. I feel bad. Well, that's not true. I will stream Gambit, but I feel bad. I do feel bad because I have been very vocal about my dislike, my detestment of Gambit. But I'm not gonna try to make that up in any way. It just happened. I'm just gonna take it. I'm a dick. I'm sorry. I don't like Gambit. I'm not. It didn't change my opinion. I just feel worse about having that opinion, I guess, a little bit. Maybe I'll have it a little less publicly now. Oh, fucking hell. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Okay, well, no stream tomorrow. We're driving. We got to take like a 5-hour road trip for a concert tomorrow, but I'm very excited. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, pretty excited. It's I Prevail, Fit for a King, and we have like I'm part of like a fan club, so I have like VIP tickets and shit. We get like early access. We get to meet the band. We get to hang out. It's gonna be sick. So I'm really excited for that. So, all right, everyone, have a great night. Love your faces. Peace.